Good morning, good morning, good morning. Come on in. Come on in. Awesome. This is going to be another great day. Come on in. Good morning, good morning. I'm just getting this shared out really quick to a few places and we'll get started. There we go. Good morning, Chainbreakers. Good morning. Let me kind of get this up a little bit so you're not looking up my nose. Good morning, Chainbreakers. It is Wednesday, October the 30th, 2019. This is going to be another fantastic day. Hi, I'm Brad Smith. I am your host for Chainbreakers 365 and the creator of hashtag Uplift and Rise. I want to welcome you here today. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, Joe. Glad to have you in here. Today, we're going to talk about the struggle between fitting in and standing out. So there is a lot of dichotomies in our human need. One of them we talked about is indeed fitting in and standing out. So as we talk about diversity, what we're talking about is finding our niche, finding our place where we fit, finding our place where we're part of a group, we're part of an organization, we're part of a movement. So we have that need to fit in, to have that family, that group of close friends, that church family, that there's a lot of different ways we can define that. And yet at the same time, we have the need to be able to stand out. And those are diametrically opposed. There are a lot of things in our human need, our human behavior, that is a dichotomy. It's a struggle. It's a movement back and forth between needing excitement and needing consistency, needing to fit in and the need to stand out. So I want to talk about that because today in society, there is a lot of discussion about the need or the desire to be able to fit in to a particular group, and how at the same point, we need diversity. We need people of all sorts of different groups to be able to move into an organization, to be able to fit into a movement, to be part of a group that works together. So there's that same dichotomy in fitting in and standing out. We need you to be able to fill a role or fill that qualification of diversity, but at the same time, we need you to be part of our organization. Good morning, Terry. Thanks for being here. So there's those struggles all the time, and we talk about fitting in and standing out. In asking companies, organizations, to become more diverse, what we're talking about is finding people within certain groups that show that we are trying to be part of a bigger organization, part of a bigger world, that it's important to us to find people of different races, of different religions, of different cultures that represent all of society and yet be part of our organization. It sounds a little strange in itself because in that we want you to represent a group, or as an individual, we want you to fill a niche. At the same time, we want you to be part of our bigger organization, and therefore there's that dichotomy. There is that play between fitting in and standing out because we have this need to be part of a group, be part of a movement, be part of something bigger, and to feel like we fit in, right? So, but the more and more and more we fit in, the more we have a need to want to stand out, to be recognized, to be acknowledged, to be told that we're doing a great job, that that our contribution is meaningful. So there's those needs to be part of that group, and there's that need to stand out. And I'm sure that you see all the times in your lives, you see that struggle move back and forth. See, it's not only within us, we see it as part of an organization, we see it part of a work culture, we see it part of a church culture, and we're trying constantly to bring people in. We're trying to make sure that women are breaking through that glass ceiling and moving into upper management roles, and we're applauding women that are stepping into CEO roles across the country. We're at the same time we're acknowledging different minority groups, African Americans, Orientals. There's all sorts of different ethnicity groups or racial cultures that we want to be able to represent us as well. Even at the automotive dealership level, it is important to be able to find people that represent different cultures, different races, different ethnicities, different sexes as well, because it is important for every person of our community, our clientele, to walk in and find somebody that they can identify with, somebody that they feel comfortable with, because they have that need to be able to find a common ground. Much like us, if we're in sales, it's finding that common ground with our customers that allows that comfort, that niche, that fitting in, that creates that relationship between us and makes it easier to move forward, makes it easier to trust, makes it easier to move ourselves toward fulfilling the needs for the customer. It allows our customer to figure out a way to fit into our organization if our organization is that business. At the same time, that very same individual, that salesperson that's filling that niche, has the need to stand out, to be important, to be recognized, to know that they're leading the field, right? So we have that, again, that dichotomy that moves back and forth, that moves with a wave. So we need to recognize at the same time that while we want people to fit in, there is still their need to stand out. We have to be careful as managers that at the same time we don't criticize or put down or demean somebody who doesn't necessarily fit in with us, because we may look through it through our lens as to whether they fit in or not, and we tend to be critical when they don't. But at the same time, their need to stand out, that need to be separate, that need to fill that niche, separates them from that, and we need to be aware of those differences in our minds as we start dealing with people within our organization that are different. Frequently, we play that struggle back and forth. We play that need to be able to we want diversity, and then we push against diversity because it doesn't feel comfortable for us, because that's not of our group. That's not who we have felt comfortable with. That's not where we have had that same feeling and connection in the past. So be aware with what you're dealing with. Are you looking through that difference of that person through your lens of what fits in and what doesn't? Because maybe they represent their group, who you wanted them to fill a need for creating that diversity. Maybe they fit it really well, but that diversity just doesn't fit well within your comfort zone. So we are dealing with struggles within diversity. It is easy for us to sit here and say, there is one race. There is only one race, and that is the human race. But we would be crazy at the same time if we didn't realize that there are very different cultural diversities with different races within different groups. Men and women relate with each other, and women relate with women, men relate with men much differently than we relate with each other. And to think that we're all going to recognize and relate with each other in the same manner, that doesn't happen. Same way as it doesn't happen with different races, with different faiths, with different cultural, ethnic backgrounds. We need to recognize that there is that constant diversity, that there is that constant struggle, and where our challenge is, or where our struggle is in recognizing the differences and taking that difference and molding it in to a larger purpose, a larger organization for making that work. I'm sure you felt some of the struggles. I'm sure you may have been part of the struggles if you represent a group that has been in a minority, that has been unrepresented, and is moving now into a place where you are being now recognized. Maybe you've been part of a bigger organization. I know without question that white males have been considered to be the dominant group who have been in control of a lot of things. And if we have only in the past related ourselves as white males, now bringing more women in, bringing more, or even white Christian males, right? Bringing more religious cultures, bringing more ethnic cultures, bringing more females in, and having those move up, sometimes will put us in a position where we have difficulty understanding and relating to what their needs are as well. One of the things that we sit here and deal with within the automotive industry, where I have spent a majority of my career, is understanding why it is that we get turnover the way we do, or maybe why it is that we have difficulty finding women to be successful within the automotive industry. And it's because we're trying to get women to fit like the round peg fitting in the square hole, or the square peg fitting in the round hole. And we're trying to get them to fit a niche based on the way it's always been for our background, our sex, our race, our culture. But many times we have to recognize that there are different needs as well. Maybe sometimes what we need to do is figure out how to adjust those roles to fit the needs of those individuals. Sometimes now, what we're also finding is there's difference between generations. The needs and the way we were raised. The way we were raised as baby boomers are not the same as what it has been for Gen X and Gen Y, and that is different than it is for millennials today. And I guess there's now a Gen Z that's even followed that in behind millennials. So we have to realize where they're coming from and what their needs are, and that those are not the same as well. So there is the importance as not only as individuals, but there is importance for managers to recognize the differences and how we need to accommodate to be able to accept within the greater organization. If we want those individuals that fill those roles, that fill those niches, that fill that representation of diversity, we have to be willing to mold our organization to be able to bring them in as a group, to be able to accept them as part of our whole. And it's in developing differing rules, differing acceptances that allows us to make that fit. Sometimes it's in flexible work schedules. Sometimes it's in limiting the number of hours that we work. Maybe it's in allowing for varying shifts. Maybe it's in creating some stability in a salary plus commission basis. Maybe it's in the way we train, because the training that's needed with millennials is different than the training that we needed as baby boomers. Society has changed. People have changed. The way we work with people has changed. And the more we begin to recognize that within our organizations, the way we create successful organizations that are able to move forward. I hope this has been interesting, that's been educational, that's maybe helped being fulfilling today. It is a very, very large subject that I've tried to cover in a very short period of time. But I hope you've gotten a few nuggets in there that may be helpful for you as you move forward. I want to thank you for being here today. I can't begin to tell you how much that your participation in these editions has been helpful for me. I truly appreciate you being here, and I hope that I'm feeding into you as well. If you like these, you can continue to find us Monday through Friday at 7:30 Eastern Time right here on Facebook, or you can find us later in replay. If you want to see more videos like these, you can go to chainbreakers365.com, or you can go to my channel on YouTube, Chainbreakers365, where you can find them there as well. But still, every morning, the best way is to find us here live. Thanks so much for being here today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow, being Halloween, we're going to talk about masks and the masks we hide behind. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And in the meantime, I want you to go out there and choose to have a fantastic day. Have a great one, everybody. Bye now.